right, Gideon, you want to show me what you have there?
I have an egg.
Ooh, I like it. All right, which one is this from?
Brown-headed.
Brown-headed? Can you point to where's brown-headed?
Okay, where's brown-headed? Come on, you gotta come with me.
Following you.
Yeah, that's brown-headed right there. Right over here.
That's brown-headed right there. Who's got a tomato?
Head. With the brown head.
Hey, brown-headed. Thanks for the egg.
Yeah, either brown-headed or black twin 2.
Or black twin 2.
Black twin 2 is right over there. Not there, there.
Yep, I got it.
Great.
There we go. Look at him go after these tomatoes.
I love tomatoes.
What's up, everybody? It's Alexa with Grace and Cherish. We're making beautiful and hospitable places. I am in the chicken coop, or at least chicken area, the animal area at Philo. I wanted to do a quick check-in with our goats and our chickens. We, back in June, got 8 chicks. We got German Bielefelder, I think is how you pronounce it. A couple French black copper Morans. We got an Azure Egger, and then we got an Alchemist Blue, which I believe was a specific variety, a specific breed from the Alchemist farm that we ordered our chicks from. So we ordered 10 chicks. We got 2 of them died in transit. And then we ended up maybe a month or so later finding out that some of our neighbors were moving and they had 5 chickens. They had 4 hens that were already laying eggs. They were just under a year old, and then 1 rooster, and they needed to rehome them. So they gave them to us. So we hadn't anticipated that. At that point, the chicks were still in the brooder in our basement. We were trying to get things ready for the chicken coop, which is taking way longer than we had anticipated. But next thing we knew, we had 13 chickens instead of the 8 or 10 that we had planned. So it's been great. We've loved having the egg layers. It's been wonderful. And that was part of what we hoped in getting this property, was being able to have, chickens that lay eggs. But the main reason that we actually ended up getting animals was more so because we wanted to be able to have animals be a part of the experience that people have when they come, since Philo is purposed to serve others, and it's a place we have events, or we host people, and we want to have them here and experience a sense of rest and connection with nature, and animals are such a beautiful way to do that. And so the goats that we have and the chickens they serve, it's really beautiful to have for us, so our kids love them. But then it's also really nice to have for just for people who don't typically see chickens every day, and so they get to come here and do that, especially with the goats too, because those are a little less common for people. So it's been a really beautiful part having them be a part of Philo has been really neat, and we're learning a lot. But it's been good. So the chicks have not been connected to the older, when we moved the chicks out here, we weren't ready. Hey, what's up? How we doing? Just pecking. We just gave him some of our tomatoes that didn't do well. Let me try to show you. Hey girl. Just hanging around. You're all coming around. That's fun to me. That's awesome. Hey. Yeah, so I don't even remember what I was saying, but when we brought the chicks out, one of the things you don't want to do is just toss the chicks in when they're really small with the bigger, more mature hens and whatnot. So we created this right here. Brandon made it. Let me fix that part. Brandon made this so that they could kind of it was fully fenced off, but we ended up opening the fence. So now all the chickens and the goats can go around the whole area. But Brandon made this so that we could kind of have the chickens out here, get in and out to care for them, but they have this space. Our chicken coop is not done yet. It's unfortunate. Let me show you. We will not be able to finish it for a while. Let me show you. So where you see those bricks laid out, or the stone laid out, whatever it's called, concrete, this is that's the base. We had to, it probably actually makes more sense if I go out there. Brandon had to lay a foundation because, as you can see here, right there is like 18 inches down, I think. Oh, my focus is messed up compared to right here. So he had to lay these to kind of even everything out. And then this is what he's gonna build on top of to make the chicken coop. We had thought that it would be able to be done by the summer. It's now, you know, mid-September. It's not. So unfortunately, that's not gonna work out, and we're gonna actually have to delay because of other things that came up. So we won't have our chicken coop for a bit, but for now, we are doing, hey girls, we are doing okay. We're doing all right. So we have this. Eventually we will open this up and the chicks will be able to be with the chickens, or with the older ones. But the goats ate out so much. It's pretty awesome. Our makeshift coop right here. The chickens have been laying eggs just fine in it though. And you can see, they got their feed, their water, and their chicken feed.
You got your leg caught, sweetie. Come here. You got your leg caught. Come here. You got your leg caught. Come here, sweetie. Come here. You got your leg caught. There you go. There, that's it. That's it. There.
She's like, run away. Okay, so what would you say we have? So we have, let's see, Tina.
Tina's got a little brown on her.
Yep, and she is the,
She likes to freak out.
yeah, she's more shy,
Very hard to catch.
but she's the boar.
Boar goat, yeah,
Yep, she's the boar goat.
I think. Yep.
But then Sheena,
Sheena's half boar, half dairy breed. I forget the
Yeah.
dairy breed off the top of my head.
I can't remember. They were both supposed to be boar goats, but then ended up, we found out after we had already gotten Sheena that she was a mix, but I can't remember now what the mix
It's
is.
a half dairy goat. Yep. But,
Both ladies,
yep.
and clearly, I mean, into eating, because they definitely did change this whole area.
Yep.
It's very different.
Yes, they did. You couldn't even see any of the dog houses in there before we got them.
Or you can't see, I'll do a different shot of the path so you can actually see, but they're eating this part now, but this whole area is
So that was the point of the leash system, was to be able to have them be able to clear other things besides inside that fenced area. So it was in the 40 by 100 fenced area. They cleared it all, everything out that they could access. So now I just got to go in there and really cut down a few trees, and then it'll be pretty much cleared out, which is crazy to think about because all you did was just leave the goats in there and they took care of business in a couple months. So now, yeah, the hope is that we can put them out during the day and then put them back in there, put back in the fenced area at nighttime. And they just keep chomping away at different areas. There's another area that we have that's full of blueberries. I mean, it's where blackberries, and I would love for them to clear that area out too. So, and they tend to love blackberries. But anyway,
a little treat for them.
Seems to be working out okay so far. Today's the first day, so they're just munching away.
Now for a quick look at the garden. Honestly, mostly what we have going right now are just these sweet potatoes, which are doing well. I've accidentally pulled one up before and it was growing really well, so that was exciting. So I'm really looking forward to harvesting all of those. If you remember when all the sweet potato slips I put in, I'm like, thank the Lord it was worth it. Because it was a lot of work, but they're growing really nicely. So I'm excited to get to enjoy those and try cooking them in different ways. And then the rest of my fall planting didn't go quite as planned. If I look over here, I can just move over there. This is the only thing that really grew well. Nothing else germinated. I'm not sure if it was something I did or didn't do, the seeds or what. That says parsley, but I actually think it's wrong. Fall gardening did not go quite as I had hoped, but it's okay. One of the things that I'm thankful for are the areas of life where you actually have no control, but they surprise you with your beauty every year. And one of those is that tree right there. So on the one hand, I'm like, man, there were so many things I'd wanted to sow and grow, and it just didn't, for the fall, and it didn't work out. And I love fall gardening. I think it's incredible. It's one of my favorite times to garden so far as I've been learning, but it's all right. I love seeing the leaves change on the tree. This is like, I can't wait to show you this when it's like in its glory. But one of the things that I'm just like soaking into is how my zinnias and cosmos are still continuing to grow. I can still cut them and use them in arrangements inside. And so this sense of summer and the brightness and vibrancy of their color is also matched with the, to me, best like autumn colors, you know, the burnt oranges and the reds, and it's just a different type of red, though they're like that more muted tone versus the vibrancy of the zinnia red. And so it's just been, it's interesting to me to see the two at once, but I love it. I'll take it. Given that I didn't grow up doing these things, it's all new. It's all these new observations that some people might be used to, but I am not. So it's been really neat. But something that I've been thinking about, and I thought gardeners would appreciate this, is we did a photo shoot back in July because I wanted to have photos of Philo and to use them for our website and some other things. And the photographer, a friend of ours, captured these photos of Galilee that I will show on here. And what I loved about it is just these pictures of her taking bites out of cucumbers that were too big for her. And I thought, what a beautiful lesson. You see the pictures of the evolution of her taking the cucumber, trying to bite into cucumber, not being able to bite in the cucumber, and giving that cucumber back. And as I watched it, I was thinking about the ways that, you know, we can do that as people. And I get this question within hospitality a lot. People will ask, you know, how often do you show hospitality? You know, what if you're burnt out and all those things? And for them, my advice is, and if you're new to this channel, please know, while gardening and the animals and other things are here, the main reason for it is, one, to glorify God, and two, to show hospitality that reflects the hospitable heart of God towards us. That's why we bought our property. That's why I ever started Grace Cherish, which is my business. I've done small interior design projects because I really look at interior design and the way that hospitality and interior design connect to each other in our own spiritual formation. That is my thing. But if I could do one thing, it's to encourage us all to be hospitable people, because I believe that transforms lives. I believe it transforms homes, and I believe it transforms our communities for the good. And so I say all that because when I was, you know, I'd get those questions, I would tell people, you know, there's no formula for how much to show hospitality or not show hospitality. And this goes for hospitality and it goes for all of life. There isn't a formula, but there are three things that I think are very necessary, and that is reading the Word, it is prayer, and it's community. And a lot of times people might be cool with the Word, they might be good with prayer, but that community piece, that one might be a little harder. And hospitality is inherently relational, just like we are as people. We are not created to be alone. We are created like God, and we bear His image, and we reflect God in the way that we too need relationship. And so hospitality again speaks to that, but being in community, that's so necessary, but also there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of pain that can come from being a human with another human. And so I understand that there can be like maybe a shyness towards wanting to be with people, but it is so necessary. And so that's one thought. But the other thing is like that picture of Galilee giving back the cucumber, which I remember her doing, and I'm just so glad it was caught on camera because it's cute and it's funny, this little baby doing that. But it also is it was so simple. And I was struck when I was looking at this series of photos and how she took off more than she could chew. So this is to answer those people who are like, I'm overwhelmed, what do? I don't know. It's like, first, you need to be in the Word, you need to pray, you need community to help you understand what you should and should not be doing. You know, maybe they can help you understand, should you have said yes to this thing, or should you have said no, or should you say no to this thing that's being offered to you, whatever it is. You know, you don't have to do everything. You only have to do the things that God has asked you to do, that He's invited you into. And I'm not someone who says, if you're overwhelmed, don't do it, because perhaps that overwhelm is just a sign that you need to rely more on the Lord. But sometimes that overwhelm is a sign that you need to rely on the Lord, but a different way. We have faithful yeses and we have faithful nos. And sometimes our overwhelm is because we didn't say a yes in faithfulness, but out of fear. Just like you can say a no out of fear and not faithfulness. But really, you need the Holy Spirit to help you discern between all of it. And that's where I think the Word, prayer, and community are so helpful to help us so you don't have to do it alone. But I say all that to say, when Galilee hands back the cucumber, it just made me think about how when we're in those situations, though, where we're like, dang, I bit off a little more than I can chew, how beautiful is it that there is nothing hindering us from turning to God and saying, take it back. Like, can you have it? Can you take this? And I think that's something so beautiful. Like, if you have said yes to something that really it wasn't yours to say yes to, and you need to give it back, that's okay. What you need is humility. And if you can do that, if you can humbly say, I shouldn't have done this, and give it back, and you're doing it in faith, you're doing it knowing that, oh, the Lord didn't ask me to do this, I chose to do this, let me give this back. And I think that there's something beautiful about that. We can do that. We can do that. We don't have to be a people who are overwhelmed. I believe in having a full life. A full life, I think, is good. But I don't think that God is calling us to a harmfully busy one, a hurried one, a rushed one. I think that there is a tension to live in, right? Life is a tension. It's not a binary. It's not this or that. So much of life is a gray in which we need the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, to help us discern how to live and be as He would want us to be in our unique situation. So sometimes you need to open up your doors to someone, or you need to go out and serve someone and show hospitality to them in that way. And other times God is saying, come to me. I need you to sit with me. I need you to simply be and let me give you my hospitality so that you may be filled and go out, or maybe I want your hospitality to be focused solely on helping for your aging parent. Maybe that's specifically where I want you to focus. And so you can't do that other thing and that other volunteer opportunity, or you have to say no to some other things because I want you to be right here caring for this person. I think there's a lot of freedom, and I believe that and I know that there's a lot of wisdom and guidance that the Lord wants us to have, but we have to be faithful enough to stop, ask, and actually listen. And then if you need help doing that, be with your community. Be with your community. And so I was thinking that as I was processing all of these things, and the whole cucumber thing just making me laugh, but I was thinking about that there are people out there that are lonely, and there are people out there that are struggling. We have a chestnut tree right here. Right there, and it drops lots of big chestnuts. I'll have to do a video on that another time. We're gonna try to roast some, but anyway, that whole chestnuts roasting on an open fire, like in that Christmas song, I was like, wow, we legitimately can do that. Things I never thought in my life. Anyway, what's most important is I was thinking about the people though who are lonely. That comes up to me a lot, and maybe it's because hospitality, sense of connection, Philo being about creating connection, is so important because so many people are lonely. So many people are hurting. And I do want to say to you specifically, one, that you matter, two, that I am praying for you, though I don't know you. I do pray for you, and that you know the love, the welcome, the generosity of God toward you, that you truly believe it and be filled with it, and then that you go and that you offer that to others around you. And that also might mean being vulnerable enough to step into situations that you're afraid of and ask that person out to coffee and say, hey, could we get to know each other and become friends? So often we will talk about that in terms of dating and things like that, but friendship, knowing how to be a good friend is so underrated, but it's so important. And I don't come with all the answers. We're humans and we have issues, but what we can do is be a people who are honest, have integrity. We can be a people that are humble. And just the willingness to try and to fail. And the thing is God is with us. And I think that in our trying, He will prove Himself to be as good and faithful as He is. If He created us to need to be in community, if He created us with the desire to have relationship, I do believe He'll be faithful to provide it. But it does also include us being willing to ask and go and take the opportunities that He might put in front of us. So that's an aside, but it's just something that I think would be foolish to not acknowledge, because pain is real, community hurt is real, and it's easy to want to step away when we actually are invited to come toward. But I know that means sometimes we have to do that with battle wounds. We have some scars and we need to be healed. We want to be healed people, because otherwise, if we're not, we act out of our woundedness, and we don't want to act out of that. We want to act out of our healing, not our perfection, but our healing. So that is my encouragement. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It's a joy to get to share this. I know it's been a minute. I was missing being able to share in here. I don't have as much, again, to share in the garden, but we are going to be doing a lot of rehab in terms of caring for the soil since I don't have a ton that I'm going to be growing. And as the tomatoes stop producing over time and the flowers, there's a lot of work we're going to be doing in the garden. So I'm doing my research right now, how to get rid of squash bugs that have taken over, how to properly remove dead things and get them out so bugs and other things don't overwinter in them. So really thinking through that. We're going to start leaf mold again too as the leaves are falling, and we have a place where we keep all the leaves. I ended up using a lot last year, so we don't have any that's a year old really. We don't have much this year, so I'm going to try that again. So there are some things I'm excited to talk about and share about. We have events coming up here at Philo. We're still continuing our 12 events in 12 months. I have one this month for some women and an organization that I'm actually a part of, so I'm looking forward to that. And then hopefully we'll have some bonfires and other things as the weather's cooler coming in the October month. So there's good stuff happening, and I would love to hear how your gardening is going. What's it like? What's happening? So please share with me what's going on. How are you doing in your garden? And I pray you know that you are valued, you matter. You're not more important than anyone else, but you're certainly not less important either. So go knowing you are fully loved and cherished. Bless you.